It's not live, but it's lively. Welcome to the Evermore Studio. And your host, 𝗩𝗃𝗡𝗁𝗍𝗂.
Welcome everybody to Vendor Spotlight, bringing you the very best in insurance technology. Now, this is something of a treat. We are episode 1 of the new series, or for the American viewers out there, the new season of Vendor Spotlight, and you'll notice some changes. We are here in the Evermore Studio, which is our 3D environment that I've had carefully and painstakingly created for this season of all of our content that will be with you via YouTube and LinkedIn. But today, I want to kick this off with a real bang. And there have been, first things first though, we're gonna need to be able to see the person that we're having on today. So I want to beckon down, like the dove from above. I want to beckon down our TV screen to introduce that guest. And I want your ideas. Please put in the comment below. I want a grandiose name for that screen. What are we going to call it? I want to call it maybe Vendor Vision. Let's beckon down Vendor Vision. Or in the wrestling, I think they call it their Titantron. I want something epic like that. So please give me some ideas below. But there have been a lot of great Tonys over the years. There's been Tony Bennett. There's been Tony Montana. Tony Soprano even. My personal favourite, Tony the Tiger. And I have to say that this next guest that we're having on today is going to be great. Who writes this? Oh, yeah, it's me. Yeah, I'm to blame for every bad scripting decision that we make. But my Tony today is Tony Grosso from EIS. Tony, welcome to the Evermore Studio.
Thank you. I think it's great to be here after that intro. It's really really wonderful, and I love being the first one in the studio. It looks fantastic. Feels so real. I can touch the desk.
Fantastic. Well, don't come jump. It's 3D, not 4D. Don't come jumping out of that screen at me because it'll give me a fright. But as you know, the structure has not changed for Vendor Spotlight. It'll be exactly the same as it's always been. You're going to have your 5 killer questions on your InsurTech offering, followed by a quickfire round that we're not even pretending at this point that it's randomly generated. We're not even pretending. We've given up on that. We don't want to insult your intelligence as viewers. So no, we will have the quickfire round thereafter. So the question is, Tony, are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Amazing. So question 1, what do you do? And how does it help insurers?
So we do core insurance systems for the insurance company, right? A lot of people do that, but what we do is we really help insurance companies break out of the sea of sameness, that's caused by their modern legacy core systems that were designed 5-10 years ago, product centric, all internally built, to focus on just the products. What we do is we have the truly customer-centered system. The customer is literally the center of our system, and everything that we do is exposed to the digital world. So it allows insurers to be truly digital, 100% digital, no human touch, delivering a fantastic experience for consumers, seamlessly participating in ecosystems, other business partners, so on and so forth. So we're really helping them to break out of that sea of sameness and to really act and be more like a tech company.
I think that's my favorite. I love that. But the sea of sameness. What a lovely way to put the kind of way that we are in insurance at the moment. The rut that we're stuck in. I love it, the sea of sameness. So helping you break out of that, insurers. So listen up. So I would like to know, second question, what is the feature of your product or service that you're most proud of or excited by?
I kind of just talked about it, and it was like, it's a really weird thing because it was, when we designed our system years ago, we were actually ahead of the game. We didn't even know it, but yeah, we designed a system because we're out of Silicon Valley, right? We designed it like software company would. We designed it for the consumer, for the customer, and to be insurance product agnostic, meaning we can sell, we can support P&C, life and annuities and health and so on and so forth. But back when we did that, it really wasn't important back then because insurance was, well, why do we need a customer-centered digital system? We're more than happy to be product-centric and sell policies and give policy numbers and take phone calls and paper. So we were a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I think the world in insurance has caught up, and insurance is now disrupting, trying to focus on the customer, trying to be digital. So our story is really becoming relevant, and our time is now, and it's never been better for us.
I feel like every question I ask you, you're going to have an amazing quotable in there. The time is now. Our time is now. I love it. So I'm going to move on to question 3. What is the biggest success story that you've had within your business thus far?
So last year, we launched in the UK, and I was flying out to do a big monster presentation at InsurTech Insights. It was in March, the pandemic was coming. I called them, hey, are we still doing this? Yeah, absolutely. I got on the plane. I was like, okay, 8 hours later, I'm in the US, by the way, 8 hours later, I land, my phone is blown up. You got to get out. You got to get out. That was the night Trump went on TV and closed the border. So I had to literally turn straight back around. But we're in the UK. We launched very successfully, and we just landed our first customer, Insurer. And they have a phenomenal story. Here's the quote from Dave McMillan, the CEO. They are on a mission to transform their business into a world-class digital insurer and to disrupt from the inside. And so they chose us because they want to be, like he said, a fully digital insurer to disrupt the industry from the inside. And that's what we're helping our customers do, and that's what we're most proud of.
Amazing. And you've obviously mentioned eSure there as one of them, and you've also alluded to the fact that originally you were born out of the US. You have lots of customers there as well. So I guess what I'd like to know is, what does your typical customer look like?
So our typical customer is probably doing about 100, at least 100, 200 million in premium, any line of business, whether it's life insurance, P&C, like I said. But the ones that are really that are the best fit for us are the ones that want to, break out of that sea of sameness. So the ones that want to innovate, the ones that want to change their lot in life, and to really transform. Because there's a lot of companies out there that just kind of do insurance processing. And if you want to do it like it was done for the past 10 years, there's probably other systems that are a great fit for you. But if you want to really get out of that sea of sameness and you really want to get ahead, that's the customers we're looking for.
Amazing. Perfect. And this is the one that we ask everyone, and I always feel bad asking it, especially to the really nice guests, but I'm going to have to ask you, I'm afraid, Tony. What's the biggest weakness of your offering right now? What do customers most frequently ask for that maybe you don't have?
How many implementations have you done in the UK? Look, it's a fact, right? Oxbow Partners did a great article on us, and, really we're raving about our technology. I said our biggest challenge is going to be, those customers that want to see 10, 15 implementations under our belt in the UK. Now, we have tons of implementations, really successfully implementations around the globe. We're doing our first, and and we have to prove ourselves, and we are proving ourselves. But right now, that is our biggest weakness to gaining market share.
Well, I've got some good news for you. That's the stressful questions out of the way. Now we're going to go to the ridiculous ones that really don't matter all that much. We've got the juicy stuff, but now we want to know more about you, Tony. So I've got your 10 quick fire questions. The question is, are you ready to make some magic happen?
These are randomly generated or not randomly generated?
Randomly generated questions. Yes, absolutely. I can't keep up the pretense anymore. They're questions I wrote before, and I made sure that they were all right to ask. I don't want to upset anyone. That's the reality of what happens. I'm letting you see behind the curtain, but that's what happens. Anyway, are you ready to answer some questions that we've carefully pre-prepared, Tony?
I'm ready for our carefully pre-prepared random questions.
Excellent. Good. Question one. Now this goes back to Smithy from Gavin and Stacey, which we talked about briefly. What is your go-to takeaway, or for the US audience out there, carry out? I think is the right phrase, right? Your takeaway or carry out order. I want the full order that you would put in, please.
Yeah, thanks for the translation too, because I didn't know what the original question meant. So, my favorite go-to is or takeaway is sushi, and the reason is I like it in takeaway is because I make my own sake. And, I try to bring my own sake to a restaurant, but they don't let me drink it there. And just to prove it, I have my own little bottle right here. Unfiltered.
It's even got its own badge on it. I love it. It's got a label that you've made. I'm expecting one of those to be sent over to the UK for me, please.
Oh.
That seems only fair.
Very nice.
I'll put it in the background in the digital studio for you. We can get it rendered up in 3D. So what do you order? What do you have when you go to a sushi place?
I don't really go for the sushi. I mean, the sushi's fine and everything, but I really go as a reason I can drink my sake. Yeah.
Amazing. Love it. Perfect. Question two. If when lockdown's lifted, you could go on holiday to anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Well, I'm trying to plan a trip right now during lockdown. So doing a little explorations in the US. So I'm trying to plan a trip to Grand Canyon, Yosemite National Park, do a little outdoor camping, glamping, I think. I don't think I'm really into the whole camping thing, probably more the glamping side of it. But yeah, I'm trying to work that out right now. Maybe wait for the weather to warm up a little bit, probably around May timeframe.
Lovely. That sounds very fancy. I'm very jealous. I think we might get down to Cornwall at best this summer. I don't think we're going to be leaving the country. Question three. I recently put a post out about 10 things I hated about the insurance industry. Although there was a prelude of 10 things I loved, but I want to get some positivity back in the room. So I'm going to ask, what's one thing that you love about the insurance industry?
Well, I don't know if my answer is going to be positive, but I love the struggle that's going on, right? I love how the industry is now struggling to stay relevant, struggling to be relevant in the lives of the millennial, and, changing everything about themselves. I was watching a webinar a couple weeks ago, and it was two CIOs. Yeah, I mean, ready for retirement CIOs, been in the industry forever. When it was all static and it was all the same. And they were talking about, we need to be agile. We need to test and learn. We need to not try to make things perfect. We need to get things to market, learn, get back. And I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, really? You're the ones that created it that way. But I love the fact that you're talking this way now. But it just shows the how much the industry has disrupted and the struggle that they're going through to stay relevant in the lives of the millennials.
And I think what's really interesting about that is you say that they're kind of nearing retirement CEOs. So what they really mean is, we need you, the next generation, to do all this stuff. We're off. Like we've made this mess. We want you to clean it up. That's what they're really saying behind the scenes. But I have question 4 for you. What is your biggest personal failure? And I please beg you, please don't make it my first marriage to my wife. Like, we don't want to get that deep on this show. It's not that deep. This is a very surface level question. So please.
Well, I'm still married to my first wife, so it can't be that one.
Amazing. Good work.
But it's kind of a funny story. Back in the 2000s, I launched a new business. It was an InsurTech, but that was before we called them InsurTechs. Back then, we were just entrepreneurs. So I invented this telematics program for school buses. So with telematics technology and RFID technology, school parents and school administrators can log in. They could see where the school bus is, where their kids are, where they got on, where they got off. I mean, it was fantastic. We were trying to sell it. I mean, ultimately, it didn't make a go of it. Lost a lot of money, but learned more than I could ever learn from an MBA. It's amazing when you're struggling to keep food on the table, what you learn, and all the different hats that you wear. But the funny part is 10 years later, I'm working at an insurance company in an innovation program, new innovation program. I'm a new hire there. The first program they gave me, innovation project, was to create a telematics program for their fleet of school buses. How ironic was that? I didn't know if it was a cruel joke or what.
What a coincidence. What's the chances of that? Unbelievable. If you could be anybody else for the day, who would you be and why?
I think I would be Frank Sinatra, but I would be Sinatra during the period of after his second divorce, when he was kind of a little bit out of the music industry.
Right.
He wasn't really, doing all that well. And the reason is, I love the struggle that he went through. And then when he came back with, the album, Songs for Swingin' Lovers, and that's really catapulted him back to where he obviously needed to be. But yeah, I would be Frank Sinatra in that time period.
Amazing. I think I'd be, at this moment in time, I think I'd be Elon Musk, and I'd want to know what cryptocurrency is going to pump next so that I can just buy loads of it and make loads of really easy money. And anyone who follows me on Twitter knows that cryptocurrency for me is a really sore subject after my XRP debacle, but less talked about that, the better. Question number 7 we're on. What was the last book you read?
Really kind of nerdy, The Challenger Sale. Really gets into the B2B sales process, all the different people that are involved, the 8 or 10 different decision makers. None of them can say yes, but a single one of them can say no, and you're all done. So it was, it's kind of an interesting read if you're in sales in B2B, to really understand what goes on the other side of the table and what goes on internally. But it is kind of nerdy.
It's a good book. I've read it. I don't want to be nerdy. I love it. I know one of my colleagues who I work with, John Costello. He read it, and for him it was a complete game changer. He just wrote pages and pages of notes out the back of it. Thought it was really, really good. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it as well. I think it's a great book, and it teaches salespeople an awful lot. Question number 8. What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
Shut up at yes.
Good. I like it. Short and punchy.
Far too often, people talk themselves out of a deal when an agreement or deal is made, and they ruin it by feeling they need to keep talking, kind of like I'm doing right now. So.
I'm a big fan as well, though, of the Columbo moment. Have you familiar with the Columbo moment in sales?
Mm-mm.
It's amazing. It's just like Columbo, and it's you're just walking out. You're just packing up your paperwork. You've already got the deal, and then you decide to push your luck. And you come back in like Columbo, and you turn to the customer and say, just one more thing. And you nail them with something that sounds completely innocuous. It sounds like, of course we don't mind doing that extra thing for you as part of this. But that's another little lovely sales tip that I was taught by Ronnie McDonald and Mark Kerwin of Blueprint. So thank you for that. They told me to watch out for it rather than teaching me to use it. But you can get Columboed quite badly if you're not careful.
I would not be able to pull that off. I do not have that smoothness. I would love to, though. I would love to be able to do that. Just one more thing. I would blow it.
I feel that you could pull it off better than I just pulled off the Columbo accent. It was an atrocious accent, and I can only apologise. I feel like I can do a lot of things, but impressions is not one of them, unfortunately. Question number 9. What 3 guests would you love to have to a dinner party?
I'm going to stick with my theme here. I'm going to go with the Rat Pack. Sinatra, Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. And there I would go in the height of their career where they had those big giant martini glasses on stage, like the clown-sized martini glasses. Those are the guys I would have anytime.
What a dinner party that would be. The things you would learn, the things you would see. I think it would be a good party. And finally, question number 10. And everybody at home, I know what you're thinking. Oh, amazing. They finally stopped flogging that dead horse of a question that everyone answers the same. But no, we're going to flog that dead horse until it is flogged, fully flogged. And that question is, InsurTech with or without an E?
Without. I'm going with without the E. I started with the E, and then somebody called me out in a meeting, and I was kind of embarrassed, like I didn't know what InsurTech was spelt like. So I now have this fear of putting an E in InsurTech.
I think it doesn't need to be a fear, because there's lots of people who are doing it, but it seems everyone who's been on the show so far has said without an E. But there are companies whose names have InsurTech with an E in it. There is lots of use of it, but common consensus seems to be that E shouldn't be there. It's stray, and it's an unnecessary one. But I'm afraid, much as I've loved this, enjoyable as it's been, this is kind of, we've reached the end of our 10 questions. It's absolutely flown by.
And the first episode.
But do you know what? It's lovely to be back. I've really missed recording Vendor Spotlight. It's one of my favourite ones to do because I get to chat to nice people, find out about new solutions, and what a pleasant start by having you on, Tony. It's been absolutely fantastic. I'm going to thank you there, and I'm going to turn back to the audience and say, audience, thank you to you as well for watching. If you're watching by this point, you've committed, and I like it. But if this is the kind of content you enjoy, then please, I'm going to sound like a YouTuber. I can't avoid it, but please smash that like button. Drop down in the comments below, whatever they say. Just engage, let us know, talk to us, tell us that you're enjoying it. Tell us what you'd like to see more of and what you'd like to see less of. But also, please, share to your boss. Share with your vaccine giver. I couldn't think of how to word that. Vaccine giver seems to work. Whoever gives you your vaccine. Or share to that old lady at the end of the road with all the cats who smells a TCP. But for now, it is goodbye from Tony.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me.
Well, you're a glutton for punishment, staying all the way to the end, but I really appreciate it. Now, if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe over here, somewhere. Am I anywhere near it? Not sure. Or watch one of the extra videos up here. Peace! Pretty gangster. Yeah, I'll be on that TikTok soon. Definitely.